conference activities for the 159th session of the Virginia Annual Conference. On Tuesday, April 29th, 2025, the Virginia Annual Conference Women's Missionary Society held their business session. Following their business session, the Women's Missionary Society held their annual luncheon. The WMS held their annual Night in White worship service at 7 p.m. where over 20 women and men were capped and pinned. Reverend Dr. Cassandra Sparrow was the preacher, and her topic was Let's Move Together. And her text was from Joshua, the first chapter, verses 1 through 9. Reverend Dr. Sparrow's sermon challenged us not to get stuck, stiff, or stubborn, and called us to rise to our feet and start moving. Opening worship service and Holy Communion. Bishop Reginald Thomas Jackson, the 132nd elected and consecrated bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and the clergy of the Virginia Annual Conference processed into the Norfolk Ballroom at the Marriott Waterside Hotel in Norfolk, Virginia at 10 a.m. for the opening worship service and Holy Communion. Reverend Tony Boone preached a soul-stirring sermon entitled, I Have Had Enough. His text was from 1 Kings 19th chapter, verses 1 through 9. Reverend Boone encouraged us to strive in our harsh environments, reminding us that the broom bush will protect us and God will sustain us. Bishop Jackson led the conference into Holy Communion. Business session, day 1. The 159th session of the Virginia Annual Conference began with the candidates for ministry leading the conference in worship and praise. The Right Reverend Reginald Thomas Jackson requested the Secretary, Reverend Dr. Eugenia W. Bowser, to call the roll. The following was reported. Itinerant elders Reverend Justin Nick and Reverend Diane Malcolm transferred to the Washington Annual Conference. Reverend Tashara Ford requested to be moved from the active itinerant elders role to the supernumerary role. Reverend Anton Kashiri requested a transfer from the 2nd Episcopal District to the 20th Episcopal District. The following were referred to the Ministerial Efficiency Committee for superannuation. Reverend Oretha Cross, Reverend Willard Booth III, and Reverend Dr. Edward Scott. Reverend Jerome Bridgers transferred from the Arkansas Annual Conference of the 12th Episcopal District to the Virginia Annual Conference. Reverend Sylvester Colvin transferred from the North Carolina Annual Conference to the Virginia Annual Conference. Reverend Joseph Hope was referred to ministerial efficiency because he did not answer the role, and the pastor of his church stated that he has been inactive. Reverend David L. Holliday and Reverend Mary C. Campbell and Supervisor Christy Jackson were referred to the Committee on Memorials. The following itinerant elders requested to superannuate: Reverend Willard P. Booth, Reverend Dr. Oretha Cross, and Reverend Dr. Edward Scott. Bishop Jackson requested that the lay delegates of the Virginia Annual Conference stand. Presiding Elder Chester Morris and Presiding Elder Billy R. Hunter certified that these delegates have been elected by their respective local churches. Bishop Jackson then thanked them for their sacrifice. Bishop Jackson and the conference expressed gratitude for each superannuate and honored each of them with a love gift. The conference also expressed love and gratitude to the widows of the clergy with a gift of love. Presiding Elder Billy R. Hunter read the organization for the 159th session of the Virginia Conference.
Madam Secretary, for that, this simply said, I'm just going to have to read it, but leave it in a minute. Simply says, see the organization report.
See the organization report, and it will be attached to the final minutes. There was a conversation between Bishop Jackson and Reverend Ronald Knight regarding supernumerary status. Bishop Jackson stated if the request to be supernumerated was approved from the conference, that person is to be considered inactive until their request to be removed from the supernumerary role and be reinstated on the active role. So that should have been supernumerary, Bishop, rather than superannuated. Bishop Reginald T. Jackson officially called the 159th session of the Virginia Annual Conference to order at 4:13 p.m. It was recommended by Reverend Christian Savage that the two middle sections of the Norfolk Ballroom and the Marriott Waterside in Norfolk, Virginia, will constitute the boundaries for the 159th session of the Virginia Annual Conference. It was received by common consent. Bishop Jackson thanked the presiding elders for the organization of the conference. The Board of Examiners report. You want me to read that, Bishop?
Just say see the report.
See report. Virginia Annual Conference lay President Brother Jermaine Favor invited the conference to the lay witness service at 7 p.m. Bishop Jackson stated that he is expecting to see the ministers present. The meeting was adjourned at 5:33 p.m. The Virginia Annual Conference Lay Organization held their annual lay witness service on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. under the leadership of Brother Jermaine Favor. Virginia Annual Conference Lay Organization President Dr. Teller Whitfield was a speaker and called us to live a global witness ministry that transcends, transforms, and liberates. He spoke from the scripture, Isaiah, the 43rd chapter, verse 10. That concludes the minutes for day 1.
All right, you heard the minutes on day 1 of the conference. What's the pleasure of the body?
Bishop, I do have readiness.
Well, let me get the motion on the floor first. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the
All right, probably moving second that the minutes of the first day session be approved. Any unreadiness?
Yes, sir. Bishop Reverend Timothy Dorsey. There is an unreadiness as it comes to the organization of the conference. When it came to the conference trustees, there was no name listed for the RAIAC president. Unfortunately, our RAIAC president was transferred to the Washington conference. We do have a vice president that would be able to step in.
Is there a vice president for RAIAC? Who is that? You're the vice president? I think that's a good move. All right. Since there is no president or the presidential office is vacant, the vice president moves up and therefore it should be listed with the trustees of the conference, trustees of the Virginia Conference. All right. Any other unreadiness? All right. All in favor will say aye. Aye. Ayes have it, the motion is carried. Let me thank the Secretary of Staff for some copious notes.